about Wolfpack, and I was like, when I heard about what their mission was and what they were trying to do and the strategy, I was like, this all makes sense. This is what I want to do. This is the root, most important issue, corruption, that is causing all these other problems. So all the other issues just tie back to corruption. So I was really inspired and motivated to get involved. And life comes first, obviously. It's a volunteer organization, and so what I worked to do was to help rebuild Kansas. And so we've got 4 active volunteers from none. So being a state leader, you learn about your limits, what your endurance level is, and how much you can take on. That's my nickname is the Flash. The other thing that I've learned is, like I said, to pace myself, and also to learn how to talk to a legislator. I actually did have a conversation with a legislator, super nerve-wracking, but you learn that they're just people like you. Yeah. Being a legislator is a job, and then they go back to their normal lives. It's not like a federal legislator where that's their full-time job. It's, they've got a day job and they've got a legislative job. So they're just normal people, and you just got to have a conversation, be super respectful, as you would with anybody else, and build that positive relationship. I think that's one of the things that I think Wolfpack does really well is encouraging and pushing the message of we are building positive relationships with legislators. Yeah. And I love that. I think it works. We've proven it works. We've passed in 5 states. From what I've heard, legislators are impressed with us as a group. Even if we don't pass in that chamber, it's still, hey, Wolfpack, those guys are super awesome. They were super nice, super respectful. Even listening to some of the legislators here, that's one thing they remark on is, even if you don't sway that legislator, they will still remember that you were respectful and you were professional and you were nice, and that will stick in the back of their mind. And I think that's really encouraging when I think about my own legislators, of them having that in the back of their mind when we go to the Capitol and we work with them and we're super respectful, super kind and everything. And building those relationships is going to be super important because that rapport is critical. I might not have that story, but I can still be that guy who goes and calls the legislator. I can still, take those other stories and use them and say, hey, these are the people I'm fighting for. I'm fighting for my sister. I'm fighting for anybody who's ever had a medical procedure, who has had that medical procedure stalled or delayed, or has at worst died from having that delayed, which we know happens. So I can be that guy to go and fight for those people, that fighter who fights for the people who don't have the time to speak, aren't in good health to speak. When I have talked to the legislator, I didn't really have my personal story crafted, but here at this workshop, I've kind of crafted my own personal story, and I learned myself that I try to be the guy that I wish I had in my corner in high school, or in middle school, or in college, post-college, things like that. And other people really resonated with that. I had people coming up to me at the workshop going, hey, I really liked your story. And it's humbling. That's the only word I have for it. It's really humbling to hear that somebody found what you said to be encouraging, and that you're encouraging them just as much as they encourage you. I was picked on in high school, just like everybody else, made fun of, but I've worked on I've kind of, as I've become more of an adult, I find myself being more of a mentor to people, and that mentor is who I wanted, in my life. And it's not that I didn't have the support system in my family. I have a great support system in my family, but if I had that guy, saying, hey, here's all the secrets to life, or here's what to do, here's what not to do, or instead of doing it this way, do it this way. I think it would have been so awesome. I think that's what everybody wants is to have that guy in their corner. And so if I can be that guy in somebody's corner, it's like I go back to it. I want to be that guy for myself. So that's what I try to put out, is I try to give people what I can, what I know, and that support system. And I think that's really important, even though you have people who are pushing a legislative strategy or pushing, or have this brilliant grand scheme of strategy, you've still got to have that support system. You still got to have that person at the end of the day who is going to be like, hey man, you did good today, or hey man, don't worry about it. We had a bad day, but it's going to be okay because here's where we're going. So I think having that support system is equally as important as having that legislative strategy as well. And we have that in spades at Wolfpack. We have that in spades. Leah Lancaster, I love to quote her, we are each other's greatest resources.